Lucas Farnsworth on your roster, and starting on Monday we are going to be starting this behavior plan with Mr. Farnsworth. Mom is on board and help us set the goals, and I'm going to show you how to use this point sheet that you will start on Monday. So you'll actually start next week where it says week 2, so you'll go to the week 2 tab next week, and it's a fresh clean tab for you to start. We were supposed to start this week, but we didn't. So I'm going to use the week 1 tab as an example of how to use this system with Mr. Farnsworth. So you can see here's an example of what the tabs look like. So if we had been using this system this week, if we had started on October 18th, actually a couple weeks ago, no, I don't even know, whatever, ignore that. We are going to take a look here. I'm going to show you what this is. So Lucas has 3 goals right now that we're working towards minimizing these behaviors. We want him to use appropriate language. We don't want him to be just shouting, and that means anything, because we're just working on the voice level unless it's appropriate for what you're doing and you're okay. So like in a PE setting, maybe it's okay if he's shouting across the gym, but maybe not when you're giving directions, right? So just use your best judgment. This one is probably more for his core teachers. So if it doesn't apply to you, you just don't fill it out for that day, for that time. And it doesn't count against him. It only counts against him if you give him a 0. But let's say in art class, Mike, that you're giving directions and he's on his computer playing a game without permission. Mom specifically wanted this goal because she knows he's not getting any work done because he's constantly on his computer. So Lucas knows what inappropriate language. It's the racial slurs. It's calling somebody gay, homo, fat. Sorry about that. I'm using inappropriate words, but these are the words we're trying to avoid. And then just your typical swear words. So the BME stands for beginning, middle, and end of class. Okay, so I'm going to go down to a fresh pretend day. So let's say it's Wednesday and he's in PE or art. Let's pretend it's art class. And you're going to leave this one empty. I don't even know why teacher is on there. I blacked it out in all the other rows. I forgot to black it out on this one. So don't. Okay, we're going to go down here. Okay, so just ignore this row. So let's say that Michael, beginning of class, first, as class begins, he comes in and he is using appropriate language. You have no issues with any swearing at the beginning of class. You're going to go ahead and give him a 3, okay? 3 being good, meaning because he's trying to get as many points as he can. Toward the middle of class, maybe he dropped an F-bomb. You went over, gave him a warning. Lucas, that's a warning for inappropriate language. He doesn't do it again. If you look up top here, hold on. You'll see here that 1 redirection will give him a 2. Okay, so you had to warn him once to use appropriate language toward the middle of class, so he would get a 2. The rest of the class period, he does a great job with inappropriate language, never uses any more bad language. You didn't have to give him any warnings around that. You give him a 3. Hippity doo dah, nice job, Lucas. Then over here, okay, let's say the entire class period, he never shouts across the room. You didn't have to give him any warnings about that. Way to go, Mr. Farnsworth. Sorry, don't know why I just used an accent. So let's say at the beginning of class, you're giving directions, Mike, and you say to him, Lucas, I need you to get off your computer, please, because I'm giving directions. I want to make sure you hear them. Can you please get off your computer? No, thank you. He says no, thank you. So that's not a strike against these 2 things over here, right? Beginning of class, you have to ask him several times to get off his computer. You're going to go ahead and give him a 0, right? You have to ask, and he just refuses. Finally, in the middle of class, it's work time. He gets off his computer. He starts to work. He works for the whole rest of the class period. Nice job, right? You guys can see that every time points are entered, it tallies the percentage here. And his goal is to get 80% or higher on all 3 of his goals to earn some reward time at the end of each day, okay? For Lucas, you guys, we've already been doing this. What we're going to do is go through kind of a 3 warning system, and then he gets to he has a 5-minute break. So let's stick with you, Mike. Let's say here, beginning of class, you gave him warnings. Hey, Lucas, that's 1 warning for using inappropriate language. Could you please use appropriate language? Make sure that when you're giving Lucas warnings, though, you need to use that stem. Lucas, this is your warning for inappropriate language. That's 1 warning, right? Then it looks like at the beginning of class, though, Lucas, I need you to get off your computer, please, so that you can hear directions. No, I'm not going to do that. You ask him again, Lucas, I really do need you to get off your computer, please, so that you can do your work. No, I'm not. Or he just completely ignores you. You walk away, you come back, you ask him a third time, Lucas, this is going to be your third warning for getting off your computer when you're asked. And then the next step is that 5-minute break. He doesn't, you send him out for that 5-minute break. We did this, we've been piloting this for a bit. Lucas goes out for his break, he gets a 5-minute break, he gets to come back and try again, okay? Let's say you end up having to give him 3 more warnings for anything, really. He gets to try again with another 5-minute break. And then after he comes back, he only gets 1 more warning before he's leaving for the rest of the class period, okay? I don't think he struggles to the point where that's ever going to happen in PE or art. IJAG, it might. If you guys need more clarification for the 1, 2, 3, 5 minute, let me know. And I'm also going to be making like a card that he's going to take from class to class where you would be able to write down the time that he left so that we know when to start his 5-minute break. But we're just trying to help him just reset for that 5 minutes and then come back in and try again. That was part that Lucas asked for because he really hates it when he's being asked to leave class and he's afraid he's never going to make it back in. And so he's hoping that 5-minute time to just really think through, he's going to think about what he actually has to do to be able to stay in class. Okay, if he was asked to leave though, and then I look at his sheet and he's got 3 points and we'll talk about then why was he asked to leave, right? So you'll fill this out every day that you have Lucas. So just make sure you're looking at the right day of the week. If you don't have him that day, then don't fill it out. And like I said, if something's not applicable, if you're not even using the computer, so Jake, you'll probably never fill out the computer section and then just leave it blank. Don't give him a 0. Don't just leave it blank. So I know this is a lot, but please make sure you're entering that data because we're going to share this document with Mom, and she's going to be able to take a look each day and then just look at the bottom tab for the date. So like I said, we're going to start on week 2, and I'm actually going to hide this tab. Please let me know if you have any questions. I know this was a lot. If you're still listening, good job. And we're going to start this on November 1st. Thanks, guys.